Hello and welcome back to the Babbling Brummies podcast. This is episode 8,
Yep.
I'd say. Yeah, episode 8. And today we are going to be talking about the January transfer window, which has just closed. For when you're listening to this, it'll be 2 days ago. But for us, it literally closed last night. And there's some massive transfers that have happened in this transfer market. Some teams gone big, some teams gone remarkably small, I think, especially with a lot of outgoings for certain teams. But we can get into that as we go along. But really, there's some big news stories that I think we need to talk about. And I think to start off with, should we have a fun one to start off with, or a more serious? Let's do a fun one. How funny was it? Luis Diaz going to Tottenham to make that U-turn to Liverpool last minute for Daniel Levy. How funny must that have been? Just seeing that.
Brutal.
I think stuff's been thrown around Daniel Levy's office there after he's realised that he's going to Liverpool instead.
I think it shows that Tottenham still don't have the pulling power. Liverpool are a different gravy, aren't they?
And I think what's most funny about it for me is that I don't know if that's the position that Liverpool really needed to fill. I think they do need to get some younger players in them positions. But right now, I think they've got a lot of weaker positions in the squad. But it just seems like they thought, no, Tottenham are getting a bit stronger. Let's take their player instead. Let's just splash some money out for him. I mean, I don't know Luis Diaz too much. I mean, obviously I've seen him on FIFA, but it's quite a hefty fee, isn't it? Do you know if he's doing well at Porto, or was he doing well at Porto?
I hope for that transfer fee he's done well at Porto. Let me.
It was 37.5 million for him, and I think Tottenham were offering about the same, maybe a tiny bit less. But I mean, that was Liverpool's only transfer of the market inwards, and to be honest, the only notable person they sent off on loan or sent out of the club was Nathaniel Phillips to Bournemouth on loan.
Yeah, Bournemouth.
And I think we should probably talk about Bournemouth now. We'll probably leave this to Chris in a second.
I don't know why we talk about Bournemouth, mate.
But Bournemouth did some moves on the last day of the transfer market, let's say.
Bournemouth channeled their inner redknapp, mate. That's what they did. They literally went full blown, like just wheeler dealer.
If I'm right, 2 big loan signings in Campbell and Phillips, and then one is a signing, isn't it, of Kiefer Moore? Is that correct, Chris?
Yeah, they bought him. Yeah, he's bought. Yeah, gone.
So how do you feel about these transfers? I thought I'd pass with you because you probably have the most knowledge about them because Kiefer's gone there and you've probably looking it up yesterday quite a lot. How do you feel about it?
I mean, Bournemouth have done. They've had an absolute blinder. They've had some really good signings, some loans. Notable one, I think, is great, decent. He was playing sort of first team Liverpool football on and off,
especially the centre back issues.
Yeah, exactly. So he's got that experience. And then Kiefer Moore, don't cry just yet. But the man got 20 goals last season for Cardiff, and they bought him. They bought him in a world of loans. In a world of loans and saving money, they splashed out 3.5 million for him.
What was his contract situation?
Yeah, he had a couple of years left.
Still a couple of years, just 3 odd million.
3.5 mil.
Okay, it's undisclosed, but it's 3.5 mil.
Usually, people have an idea of how much it was.
That's mad.
I would understand if it was.
Yeah, it's absolutely mad.
Not long left on his contract, but to go to a team in the same league as the club you're already at, who you supposedly love. I mean, he's a Welsh boy, isn't he? It's going to be Cardiff or Swansea. It'd be one of the big teams to support, and obviously, Kiefer is would be a Cardiff boy, I suppose. But Bournemouth, even though they're up near the top of the table, you wouldn't say they want like the absolute favourite to go up. They're probably in there with the favourites, But considering that there was rumours of going to Wolves in summer, I think that's a very odd deal for him. At least for me, I would have held out to the end of the season, try and get Cardiff up, and then gone then.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're saying all this stuff with like your head screwed on, right? And we clearly are desperate, and we've done that, you know. The thing is as well, right? So he joined us, 3.5-year contract, and then he was with us at 18 months. We just sold him, right? So he had 2 years left on his deal, and he had a great 18 months for us. He banged in 20 goals last season. I think he's on 5 this season, and he's hardly played. Like, he's still our top goal scorer. He's hardly played.
He
but I
knows
think
how to
there's
find
a
a net.
lot of without going too much into just Cardiff's woes. We've got loads of money that we owe to people. You know, most notably Nance. We've still got because the Emiliano Sala stuff.
I know, of course, but I mean, like, I thought your owner was like loaded.
Yeah, but everyone's taken a hit with COVID. Like, it's an economic crisis. That's why you're seeing loans left, right, and centre. You know, and to flick back to Bournemouth, I'm pretty sure the only player they bought was Kiefer Moore, and the rest they've loaned. They've loaned Todd Cantwell. Like,
yeah.
And I'm not saying he's the best player in the world, but you'd have thought he was one of Norwich's best players. Like, yeah. So they've got him, Nat Phillips, and Kiefer Moore. They're going up. They're new favourites for me. You know, Bournemouth are going up. They've made some great signings, to be honest.
I think a lot of clubs are taking advantage of this new loan rule not being in yet. And do you guys know about the new loan rule which is coming in 2024? I think it is, where you can only have 5. Is it 5? Right? I think you talked about it a few weeks ago. Yeah, 5 in and 5 out, and like in COVID climate, it's loans are the new thing for these for lower league clubs pretty much. For anything championship below, even some Prem teams make loans. Like, you look at Tottenham bringing in that player. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. Dejan, let's call him, from Juventus, a loan with an option to buy.
Tottenham.
Yeah, Dejan
Kulusevski.
You pronounce that much better than I ever could.
The Swedish lad. Is that one about the Swedish winger?
The winger from Juventus. But yeah, I mean, it seems like loans are the big thing. Like, I might be going out on a limb, and this is with no research whatsoever, but I think probably all the clubs in the Championship, bar maybe a few, most of their deals would have been loans in January, because a lot of them don't know what their financial situation or even league situation will be in the summer.
I think we made 4 loan signings and 1 permanent.
Exactly.
Thing.
I think it's very similar for every team. Well, I say Championship. I think every team below as well. Like, we signed. We did mostly loans, but a couple of free transfers, and 1 we paid money for. Like, I think it's just a new reality of being in the lower leagues until the whole COVID situation's over. You don't know if in 6 months' time we're going to be allowed fans in the stadium. Do you know what I mean? If like new variants come or whatever, I think clubs are being very much more conservative about how they're spending their money. But to buy Kiefer Moore, I know it's a really frustrating for you as a Cardiff fan, but it's great for Bournemouth. Probably one of the best strikers in the league. I wouldn't say the best, but you could argue that he might be the best in the league.
I think when he gets a run of games, he will show.
I think probably Mitrovic is better, but apart from that, you're going to be trying to find someone better. It'll be hard to find someone better.
Oh,
he's definitely top 3.
This season, he's not.
But as a player,
ability,
I think he was 3rd top goal scorer.
Well, he's definitely top 3 in ability. You've got obviously Mitrovic, Dinier, and then you've got obviously Kiefer. So
who's Dinier? Oh, he's that older player, isn't he? With,
the goat.
I probably shouldn't say this actually in case it comes on the podcast. And someone clips him out. I was like, "What did you say about me, John?" No, good player, but
Gonna be better when we get Ward Prowse on, innit?
On a different sort of topic, I think one thing which I found very interesting about this transfer window is, and I think it's actually quite usual for a January transfer window, but I've not noticed it until this time. no, not many of the teams chasing Champions League football made any notable signing. Arsenal made 2 youth signings, pretty much. Chelsea, again, 2 younger signings. Neither of them are going to touch the first team. Let's say Leicester are going to be challenging for it. I don't think they will be, but they made no signings. Liverpool made 1 signing.
And that was more just the robbery of Tottenham.
Exactly. Man City made a signing, but he's not coming till summer. Man United, no signings. Tottenham made a couple signings on the last day of the season, but I think that was more because they got rid of Ndombele, Lo Celso, Dele Alli, and even Brian Gill made a few substitute appearances for Tottenham. So that was more providing cover for what they sold. And then West Ham, again, a player in, again, another youngster. And I think it's very interesting that the top teams didn't feel a need to change their clubs, but then you look at the bottom teams. I mean, let's just talk about the main one, Newcastle.
Yeah.
What do you think of their signings?
I think it becomes very
they're
unfair when you give
they
it.
have a...
Go on, Chris.
Oh no, Jay, go on, mate. You go. No, go on.
Yeah, go on, Jay.
I just think it's an absolute madness that obviously they've got the blank checkbook and now they're just spending extortionate amount of money. I.e., I'm still racking my brain as we speak. I've been quiet for 5 minutes trying to work out how Keefer's worth 3.5 mil and Chris Wood went for 25.
But they have made some great signings as well, I think. I mean, Kieran Trippier, 12 million. Decent signing for the quality of footballer you get in.
Lucas Paqueta, is it? They've got him, the midfielder.
I don't think they did. They got Bruno Guimaraes from Lyon.
That's the one I'm thinking of. They wanted Paqueta.
35 million, which may be overpaying a slight bit, but we don't know. He's had a few good seasons in the French league, and he looks all right. And then Dan Burn from Brighton, 30 million, going to his boyhood club. Another good sign. Then a loan signing from Villa of Target. What were you going to say, Chris?
I was just going to say they're showing intention, but they're buying, other than the Bruno guy, 40 million from Lyon. That's a statement of intent. Kieran Trippier absolutely baffles me, that one, because they won the Liga last season.
Yeah,
I feel like Real Madrid, they won it, and so he's in the number 1 team in Spain. They're defending champions this year, right? And he goes from there. And he did play a fair amount of games. I think we were having a discussion in our little WhatsApp chat about, this is ages ago, about Kieran Trippier being one of the best defenders in his position in the world. We were talking about that. We had that conversation, and then he's gone to Newcastle in January 2022 for 15 million to Newcastle, who are struggling to stay up. But so that's a weird move for him. He obviously believes in Newcastle. He obviously believes in whatever they're spinning him.
Money.
Yeah, well,
money.
I don't think he's old enough to care about money. I think... no, that's not true. Everyone's old enough to care about money.
I care about money.
The room. He's not... surely, I don't know, maybe this is the argument when we talk about people going to planet. Surely he's interested in the quality of football, and if that's the case, he's gone to Newcastle. No offense. I've got some fans who are Newcastle, friends who are Newcastle fans. I've also got some
big fans for Chris, yeah.
But yeah, big fans. But it baffles me. The Chris Wood thing is laughable. But that's their own fault. They've been bought over. Huge press about how much their owners are worth. If their owners weren't worth that, Dan Burn's no one's spending 13 million on Dan Burn. No offense.
I think
13 million. 25 million on Chris Wood.
I think Dan Burn's
I'd argue,
13 mil.
I think 13 million for Dan Burn is, for me personally, I think that's a pretty fair. I think
he's been in a very good Brighton side this year.
And also, another English player who helps with
the English premium.
And if they're going to be bringing in lots of players in the summer, if they stay up, you'd assume a lot of them would be players who aren't English. So having that English pedigree in the squad still, you have to have a certain amount of English players, don't you, per your squad. So that ticks one of them boxes, him and Trippier. And I think what you're saying about Chris Wood, it definitely was overspending. 100%. But I think it also is a smart signing, a player who knows how to score in the Prem. I mean, I don't think he's worth. Don't get me wrong. He's not worth 25 million.
Right,
but I think it's a signing who knows how to score in the Prem, and that's what Newcastle was struggling with. There might have been better striker options as well. Don't get me wrong on that, but they did get a striker who knows how to score. And I might be wrong. When was the last time he scored less than 10 goals in a Premier League season?
Right,
like he's consistently average.
But that's a weird stat, right? Because if he's the only striker in the team, and all season Burnley score 10 goals and they're all from him, and 8 of them are penalties, like it's not that sort of exciting. Like, you know what I mean? I just don't believe in him. But I understand why they've done it, because it's done over Burnley, and it's a clever move. But I just think if they didn't have that money, they wouldn't have spent 25 mil. They wouldn't have spent 25 mil. They wouldn't have spent 12 million on Burn. Like they've had their pants pulled down over the price, basically.
Of course, but that's always going to be the standard thing, isn't it? When you're a big club, when you've got big money and you're a well-known club, the price instantly goes up.
And I think one of the things which Newcastle has shown with this transfer is, I don't know if it's intentional or not, is that they don't really care about money. And it's sort of the same as in the summer when Real Madrid came in with a 100 million bid to unsettle Kylian Mbappe. And I think most people knew Kylian Mbappe wasn't going to go to Real Madrid. And it was a ridiculous amount of money for 1 year left on his contract, which no one would have blamed PSG for actually accepting. But the fact that PSG didn't accept an 150 million bid or whatever it was to let him go for free, and knowing that he wanted to go for free in the summer, that just put their intent of, you can't bully us with money, we don't care about money, sort of thing. I suppose you can bully us about money, but more of, we don't care about money. We've got so much money, your 150 million doesn't mean a thing to us. And it was sort of from Newcastle like, we've got so much money, we're going to spend 25 million on Chris Wood. And that will have its negatives as well of clubs bumping up the prices, 100%. But it also shows that their owners are willing to invest and they don't care about losing money. Yeah.
Agree.
Sign of intent. A massive sign of intent. I agree. But I just think they're big dog in it.
I think let's move on to another club. Unless you got anything more to say on Newcastle, Jay.
No, I don't. I think I agree with everything that's been said. Like they are overspending, but they've bought good players. You know, does it improve their chance of staying up? Of course, it does massively. You could put them as favourites to stay up pretty much after the signings they've made. Burnley, I expected to try and get another centre forward, and they haven't.
Yeah.
You know, the teams down there. Watford are the only other ones that have made real signings. I'm looking forward to seeing the Hodgson effect on that.
Yeah.
But
one of our biggest signings being Hodgson.
Yeah.
After we can't figure it out. It's the same with Everton. We'll go to Everton in a bit as well. Point. One of their big signings being a new manager. Some say not experienced enough. Some say it's a good place to show how good he actually is, if he's that good. But I think the last thing I'll say on Newcastle as well is they've signed more first team players for their squad than any other team in the league. I believe you can maybe argue how many signings did Villa make. I know they made a few first team ones. Probably even more than Villa. More first team signings. So 4 of their 5, I think, instantly walk into their first team. And Kieran Trippier, Wood, Bruno, and Burn. And I think that's another big thing. It's not for the future. They're spending to stay up now.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
No, I get that.
But let's move on to. I was going to go somewhere else, but I think you said something I think we should cover now, Jay, actually, is the other relegation contendent sides, who they brought in. And we look at Burnley, who I think made a very interesting signing, in the fact that they signed a player to loan out straight away.
That's a weird one, that is, and think when teams do that, it confuses me.
And he seems like he's good enough since they loaned him to the top of the Belgian league. Like he seems good enough to play. And correct me if I'm wrong, but he's a striker, isn't he, as well?
I think so. Who is it again? What's his name?
Kasper Kozlowski. I believe he's a striker. And Yeah. They signed 2 players. Pardon, sorry? 8 mil, did you say?
8 mil they paid for him.
Oh, I didn't know they paid that much for him.
And we're like, this is Burnley, isn't it?
just
We're on
sort of
about little Burnley.
Nearly 3
Do they have a
times
deal
the
with
size.
this Union Saint? Because they signed 2 players and both of them got loaned out to the same squad, same team. Royal Union Saint, the top of the Belgium league at the moment. Christian Burgess, Mamman Burgess is over there at the moment. But that's very... Oh, that's Brighton. Sorry, I was looking at Brighton. My bad. But still, very interesting by Brighton to sign these 2 players, then loan them both out.
I think Brighton have more than enough, though, at the minute up front. I think they're building for the future, and I think that's the Potter kind of way. I like the way Graham Potter does it. He's building a young, experienced team. He's kept hold of his gems, do you know what I mean? I don't think Lamptey left, did he?
No, but Dan Burn left. They have lost in this market and not gained.
They have lost, but to be honest, like, you know, all of us have said he is a good defender, but he's probably banked on making money on him. You know, that's 12 million to Brighton's probably a big lot of money.
Yeah, you're right. But let's go on to the team I actually meant to go to, Burnley. They did sign a striker and a decent striker. I would argue probably, for me personally, better than Chris Wood in Weghurst from Wolfsburg for 12 million.
And he fits the Brexit ball kind of philosophy. He's not the quickest,
exactly.
Clinical, big.
And they signed him for half the amount. And I'd assume less wages than Chris Wood for, or at least the same wages he was on. So they've made a good signing there, I believe, to cover what they're missing. And hopefully we see Burnley start to play well. Because I change every week, but I do like Burnley. But I don't think I want them to stay up. But it'd be nice to see him fight for it a bit more. Yeah. But who else in that relegation battle at the moment? You have Newcastle, obviously. Watford, you talked about a little bit, Jay. Bringing in players.
They signed they needed. They signed a new left back because Danny Rose was awful. They signed a centre back, you know, the experience. They've made decent little signings. The CDM looks good for him. You know, Ismail Sarr's about to come back, so he's going to feel like a new signing to him, and he's crucial for them, I think.
And I think what's big about Watford shows the intent. All signings, not loans.
Yeah, they're just full sending it. They're just in.
I mean, they did sign someone to loan out again. Seems very popular at the moment. But
is it the goalkeeper?
Yeah. 4 of the signings are to play, and I think that's big. They've signed, not loaned. And I don't know. And then the last team in that scrap is so it's Burnley, Newcastle, Watford, and
Norwich.
Yes, Norwich again. We talked about this earlier, didn't we? We're a bit confused. They signed nobody and sold or loaned out a lot of players, including one to Cardiff. Jordan Hugo.
He's quality. He's quality. He played against Forest on the weekend and he scored the first goal.
And one to Birmingham as well. Hernandez, who I know Jay said he's pretty good.
Onel Hernandez is decent. You know, like, he's quick. He's what we needed. We needed some extra pace after losing Chong a few months ago, and he just gives us that bit of extra spark. So he's a good little player. I'm surprised he's not playing for them.
It's confused me for Norwich, because even if them 2 are bench boys for them, they're losing depth when a couple of injuries might mean they need to call upon them. Making no signings in, but getting rid of all these players is. Do you think that's a smart move?
Yeah, I think are we on about the loaning out to rebuy kind of move that they're doing, or just Norwich getting rid of their big players?
Just Norwich not big players. Norwich getting rid of their depth. I think is probably a better way of putting it.
I think it's I think maybe they're at a point where Todd Cantwell, especially, he's always been a footballer who's been promising, but he's never quite hit the potential to be promising.
Yeah.
So I think maybe sending him off to the Champo, a high-end championship, you know, with Bournemouth will kind of get him there.
Yeah.
maybe that's their thought process behind it. He's not going to get a lot of game time here. Let's just throw him out into there.
And I do get what you're saying, Jay, about Cantwell. But I don't know if I said this a second ago, but I'm pretty sure he's only got 6 months left on his contract, if I'm right. Is that correct?
Maybe just fobbing him off the wages then.
I think that might be what it is more, rather than trying to fulfill his potential. I think he's not re-signing, and he's not at the standard at the moment that they need. But I still think it's still a crazy decision to get rid of him when they're fighting this relegation battle. And just for the last 15, 20 minutes, I really think it might be good to just focus on 4 teams which I think either did amazing business or very confusing business in the transfer market. Is that okay with you two?
Yeah.
Do it.
And I think the first one, Manchester United. Firstly, no players in. And then 2 rotation players leaving in Martial and Van der Beek, and 1 player who won't be playing for the rest of the season. I would have thought they would have brought someone in, even if it was last day of the transfer market, panic buying. What do you guys think about? Maybe Chris, if you want to go first, and then Jay, what do you think about that? No signings in, letting go Martial and Van der Beek, then obviously Green would not been able to play. And what do you think of that business, basically?
Okay. Chris, you can go first if you want.
Yeah, great. So I think the big thing is obviously it's the huge United news at the minute that everyone's sort of talking about, and that's obviously Van der Beek to Everton, because there's obviously the big hoo-ha beforehand with Ollie about, is he going to start? Is he not going to start? Why isn't he starting? But now he's been shipped off to Everton. Like, where's the outcry? Where's the rage? Like, where's everyone getting like upset about, where the United fans like whinging because he's not playing? Well, he's off to Everton now, so don't worry about it. Like, it's so hilarious how that's all that thing has worked out. Martial, fans just lost him. He lost the room, and he's off to Sevilla. This is mad because they've got a quality youth team, right? So Amad Diallo, who's off to Rangers on a loan, a couple years ago, maybe, like, I was like, insane player, world class, next Ronaldo. And he still might go to Rangers, find his feet, working with the Welsh wizard that is Aaron Ramsey, and then come back and absolutely smash it. So I think part of it is financial, like part of it is no players in because they need to watch the budget, getting rid of Martial and Van der Beek, all their wages, because they're coming on huge wages, especially Van der Beek. He was playing the top of his game. He comes to sit on the bench. He's not happy either. He wants game time. I think they're solving a lot of their problems that they've got to deal with in preparation for next season. I think they've written off this season. This transfer window for United does not scream we're chasing Champions League, we're going to get it. This is we're resigned to the fact we're not getting Champions League anymore. We want all our youth players, all our backups to go get some decent football time. We want people who are unhappy to go get happy and to release some funds up that way.
And maybe help the dressing room,
yeah, exactly that. Because obviously you said about Greenwood as well. Like, if they need to prep for next season. Like, this season is a complete write-off for United now. It may be even potentially their lowest finish in years. So that's what I see with United anyway.
No, I think one of the things you said there, because I know you said about a few youth players leaving, but that is one of United's saving grace, to have youth players who probably could fill in as backup in the Premier League already.
And I think I think that's massive, isn't it? Like, if you look at the game against Young Boys they played, I think most of their team, including the ones that came on, he pretty much played an under 23 squad, and they held their own and drew against one of the higher teams in Switzerland. You know, the first team in Switzerland, and these played their kids, and they did well. So it is promising, you know, for the future.
Yeah.
I think they could have probably done with bringing in 1 or 2 faces just for squad depth.
Yeah. And,
you know.
Yeah. I think definitely, yeah. But I think what Chris was saying is probably correct, that they've sort of written off this season. It's already lost their manager, which is a shame because it's Ronaldo's probably one of his only maybe 2 seasons he'll be at United. That they've written off one of them, but yeah, it was. And like, speaking about that, I mean, I wouldn't like to say this next team have written off their season, but I don't think this transfer market's helped them much, and that is Arsenal. And the reason I say this is because they didn't bring in anybody for first team football, or even probably off the bench. They let go of Aubameyang, who wasn't playing. That's good because they got him off their wage bill, but who still at the start of the season they hoped he was going to be one of their best players, being their captain. Got rid of Callum Chambers again, probably a bench boy. Got rid of Pablo Mari again. Could probably do a bit on the bench if he ever made it on there. Kolasinac again, another bench boy. Got rid of Maitland-Niles again, someone who hasn't played really because of Falling's out, but again a player who could do a job in the first team. Got rid of all these players and signed nobody, pretty much nobody. And this is a team aspiring to get top 4.
Yeah. I mean, they because the guy they did sign, saying I don't know, some American bloke.
Trusty.
No offense to him. He won't be listening, but no offense to him. Trusty, thanks, mate. Yeah, Trusty. I mean, they're not getting him like till summer. So, right, what's the point in that? And like you say, they've just offloaded so many players, but they've been mugged off. They've been absolutely mugged off. Who was that player that was like rumored to go to Isak or something?
Yeah, I was so surprised he didn't sign.
Like,
is this the Juve one?
Isak's
Who's going to Juve or going to Juve? Or that's the Fiorentina one. I can't remember his name. It's very hard to pronounce. Isak as well.
Alexander,
yeah, you're right.
Yes, Alexander Isak, like all that stuff, and he's in London. He's got a car. He's
and
all that stuff. Like, it's tragic, absolutely tragic. They had the other guy they were meant to sign.
From Fiorentina. I can't remember his name. Yeah.
So he went to in his announcement video. There was like paper cutouts of definitely going to Arsenal. Arteta big on this player in his announcement video to go to Juventus. Like they've been made an absolute mockery of. Like Aaron Ramsey going to Rangers. They'd have had Aaron Ramsey back. They'd have bit his hand off if he said, I'll come back.
Most teams, excluding the top 4, would have had Aaron Ramsey.
Players.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's quality. He's absolute quality.
Just the issue would be wages.
It's his boyhood. It's his boy club, though. Well, not his boy club. That's Cardiff City, but like his big Prem team. It's like Mason Mount. Like he loves Portsmouth, but he plays for Chelsea. If he went off to Barcelona and then Chelsea said, "Oh, would you come back to us?" He'd go, "Yeah, all right, I'll come back to you."
Yeah, I get what I mean. Yeah. I think
so. Mad.
I think the one saving grace for Arsenal as well. Jay, feel free to disagree with this, but you don't have to disagree. You can agree as well. Is the fact that they spent a lot of money in the summer, and maybe they thought that's all they need to do for this season, spend then, and just live with it until the summer.
It's like we said, a while ago, isn't it? COVID. Maybe he's just, securing the bank for a bit now. He's done everything he needs to do. No one fits his philosophy that he wants. He wanted Isak. It didn't work. He's like, well, Aubameyang's gone. That saves me a lot of wages. He's pretty much off ski for good.
Yeah.
And he's probably just happy. He's probably going to rely on a Coutinho from, his under 23s or his youth to start coming on and start banging him in.
I mean, I think for a reserve, a sub, I think he's very young, Nketiah, right?
I think he's 21, 22.
Yeah. He's like he's not a Lingard one. He's that young English player.
Lingard's got a lot of potential. You leave Jesse.
He's 20. He's 22. So still, and off the bench, I mean, his record in the Prem, not great, but his record at under 21 football in like national level is very good goals wise. For England under 18, played 2, scored 4. England under 19s played 10, scored 9. Under 20s played 9, scored 6, and under 21s played 17, scored 16. I mean, I don't know who they're against. Might have been San Marino or something.
Estonia's under 16s or something, probably.
Yeah, but
He looks amazing.
Yeah, Portsmouth.
We're not saying he's good enough to be a starting striker for Arsenal. They have Lacazette already in experience. They could even play Martinelli up top or something like that. Or maybe even Smith Rowe in sort of a false nine situation.
Yeah,
but off the bench,
Saka.
I think it's not too bad. Yeah, Saka as well, someone with pace. But I just thought it was very strange from Arsenal, especially I thought they had a lot of ambition. But maybe they just trust in their squad. I don't know. I really don't know.
I suppose it's a case of Arsenal fans again have to trust the process, don't they?
That's true. That's true.
You know, and it's worked so far. You know, even let's be honest, even if they don't get fourth this year, no one's going to say they had a bad season.
No, not at all.
All right, yeah, they went out the FA Cup to Nottingham Forest, which was quite bad to watch. But moving from that, they have had a good season. They've built a lot.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like, it's these last season, this season, next season, you'd probably say are transitional seasons.
Yeah.
But still, like, if they can get results from it, that's nice. And especially if their youngsters getting the experience. But like you say, yeah, maybe they're going to be happy with this season when they weren't ever realistically going to be going for top four.
I look at Arsenal a bit like I look at anti-Watford. Like, in terms of Arsenal were giving their manager time to build a squad around his philosophy.
Yeah.
Watford literally give you 12 games and go, right. You know, Watford need to sign a manager now. Like, if Hodgson stays, I think they should let him stay and build a kind of his way.
Well, but to be fair, he's 74 years old.
I mean, I know that, but
I think this is definitely his last club. But you said that about Palace.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, he did.
But he's not a long-term manager, really, is it? I think he's more in steady the ship and build some foundation going forward, hopefully. But yeah, I do get what you mean, Jay. I really do get what you mean. And talk about new managers. Two big new managers this year and one very recently are two of the best central midfielders England have ever had. Frank Lampard and Gerrard. So I think to just finish this pod, I think it'll be good to speak about these two. And let's leave Aston Villa till last, because I think both Chris and Jamie have a bias against them. So let's go with Everton first. Frankie Lampard in. People say he did a good job at Derby. I disagree. I think he achieved exactly what they should have achieved, didn't overachieve at all. And then I think he was called up too early for the Chelsea job, but he did put together the team that won the Champions League. So he's always been decent. Well, I say always. He's been good at signings at every club he's been at. With Fulham, he got in Mason Mount, of course, and a few other good signings. At Chelsea, most of his signings were good. You could argue Timo Werner might have just been an impulse one because of how good he was doing in Germany. But he's come in one day on the job and signed Van der Beek and Dele Alli. What are we saying to that?
it's incredible, isn't it? That is perfect signings for them. You know, they want a creative midfielder. They've got Dele Alli who will just sit in that number 10. You know, you give Dele Alli, to me, looks like the kind of player that needs a manager's arm around him to kind of show him some love and go, listen, man, go on, you've got the ability, you can do this.
And you see that, I think, in his goodbye message to Tottenham when he goes, he thanks Pochettino and his team, and he was the manager who put his arm around him.
Yeah, I think when Dele's shown love, Dele can be an incredible footballer. Is he lazy? 100%. Will Lampard whip him into shape? You hope so.
Yeah.
I think Donny van der Beek was an incredible loan signing. He's clearly got the potential. Every time he's played for United, people have gone, he's really good. Why is he not playing? He's now got an Everton team around him where he will look like the top don there. He'll be knocking the ball around. And Lampard's that manager that will just show him that love and go, yeah, man, come on. You can play. You're good enough. Let's go.
And I think, just for Chris says, I just want to say, I think Dele Alli's in the perfect place here at Everton. He's a player he's lazy, we've said that. But he doesn't like defending, but going forward he's amazing, and he's the best when he's given that freedom. And this is Dele Alli, who'll be sitting probably, I would assume, in a midfield four of Alan Decore and Donny van der Beek. He won't need to defend. He will never need to defend again in that team, if they're all there. So he has the freedom to do what he wants up top, and we can maybe see some of his wonder goals we saw when he was at Tottenham. So I'm really excited to see where he goes. I think the one down thing for Everton was letting go of Lucas Digne. I don't think he got on well with Rafa. But, I mean, I'm excited to see Dele Alli and Van der Beek. I mean, they did make some other signings as well, but them two especially. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, you boys make great points. The one thing you got to say about Arsenal is... sorry, Everton. Arsenal. My head's still on Arsenal because they always try and just walk it in. I was kept thinking about Arsenal because I'll say it now because otherwise I will forget it. Aubameyang got in trouble for turning up late to training, right? And then so that's kind of the splinter of his relationship. And then he turned up early to Barca before they signed the deal. He started training with them. Anyway, so Everton, I think the issue I've got with Everton is that they are continually shooting for the moon. Like they're trying so hard to shoot for the moon. Like Rafa as a manager, and I've got a Liverpool bias as it is. Don't like him, can't stand him. Potato head, right? To be horrible, but to sack him and then go, all right, we want Frank Lampard in. Whether you think he's a good manager or not, and I know you think he's kind of, he's achieved.
Got a lot to prove.
He's inconsistent with his achievements. Yeah. He's got so much to prove. But so's Gerrard. But we'll talk about him in a minute. I think it's a big intent, and we kind of said this earlier about some of the transfers that some of the teams are making, like especially Newcastle. But Everton going, all right, if we got rid of Rafa, right, we'll get in Frankie Lampard. I think just shows if you're an Everton fan, you're buzzing because you've had Rafa in, who's won stuff, and now you've got Frank Lampard in, who has won the Champions League. Yeah, and I know he didn't officially win the Champions League, but he did. He did. It was his team. It was his final. Yeah, it's the caretaker manager did it. It was absolutely. It was his final. So he won the Champions League. The intent there, Everton fans loving it.
Yeah.
The signings. Dele Alli can be great, like we said. Well, you guys
definitely,
said it anyway, but that team just needs really good man management. Rafa wasn't a good man manager. All Liverpool, Carragher, all that stuff, they've all said it. Rafa wasn't very good with people, but he was great with tactics. Lampard almost feels like the complete opposite. Really good at man management. Mason Mount's best mate. Maybe I
suppose Mason Mount didn't sign. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's great. If they can avoid which, they definitely should do it. Games in hand, and they're 3 points, 4 points ahead or something. Then they'll be grand. But they have got a bit to climb. New players in, new chemistry, new challenge.
I think Everton are safe.
Yeah, I don't see him being in trouble, especially now. I think now a few more wins and it'll really secure them. But
that's it. They've got to get those wins. That's what I'm saying. They've got a bit to climb and then they're safe. But yeah.
I think the relegation battle is still not. I don't think it. And I know I'm going to sound ridiculous saying this. I think the bottom 4 teams aren't going to be the bottom 4 teams still. I think not Everton, but I think the teams above it. I think they're going to start to fall apart a little bit.
Hopefully, we can come back to this in a few months and be like, Jamie Lawler is the oracle. But I'm not convinced in that.
I'm going to put myself on a limb now, and I'm going to look at the Premier League table right now and throw a team in there.
Okay.
Oof.
I think the one team which could be in trouble is Leeds. Personally, if you're going to throw a team in there. But that's it, really. Brentford made a great signing, but they signed Eriksen, which I haven't talked about too much, but that's a great signing.
The bloke's going to die, mate. The bloke's literally going to die.
Nah, you'll be fine.
Brentford, Southampton, by the way.
Southampton?
Brentford, Southampton are going to end up... It will be like a bottom 6 battle come mid-April.
I hope you're right. But, one person we could talk about is Eriksen going to Brentford. But I think it might take up too much time, and we won't have time to talk about this Villa, who I really want to talk about. But I just want to say one thing, and I think Jay and Chris, you'll probably agree, maybe just add a little bit on. It's great to see Eriksen back. I just hope he's not pushing himself too much and he'll regret it.
Yeah.
I pray that he is healthy. I pray that he will be okay. He will manage to play football again safely. And hopefully he's got a little defibrillator in him, hasn't he? So, which can obviously, if it feels like it's starting to go, it gives him a shock.
And I know Mwamba
I think
actually
medically
said,
he'll manage it.
Mwamba said to him, didn't he? He goes, "If it was me, I wouldn't play again." So let's hope he does well, and let's hope it's like a miracle turnaround for him, and he plays like he did, especially that first season at Tottenham.
The man is so good. The man has so much to offer, and he's still young.
And he's just won the league, hasn't he, in Italy?
Yeah, like
People forget that.
Like, and I think he must have passed every medical procedure. There's no way in God's green earth you sign into a Premier League football club without passing a massive medical with many, many, many declarations.
And there will be eyes on him at all times. Every single match, they'll check him over again.
Even if when you've ran for 80 minutes, you look a bit out of breath and you're like wheezing a bit. At that point, they'll have like 4 people over him. Like, what's going on? You good? You good, Everton? Like, he'll be okay.
Well, let's go on to the last club I want to talk about, and I think personally, you're happy to disagree. Best signings of the transfer market. Probably best signings, but also that had the best transfer market. We'll talk about outgoings. Obviously, they had El Ghazi go to Everton. This is Aston Villa, by the way. Wesley left, who didn't really play anyway. I know he was injured for a while. Matt Targett's gone off on loan to Newcastle as well. But and also their youngster Chukwuemeka, however you say his name, off on loan as well. But Callum Chambers, respectable signing. Robin Olsen, great backup to Martinez. Kerr Smith, don't know too much about, but he's from Dundee. Gerrard was there last season and a bit of this season, so he must think he's good. But these two next signings, absolutely great. Lucas Dinier, who was Barcelona's fullback and also one of the best fullbacks in the league at Everton. And then Philip Coutinho. Like, I know he's not had the greatest time at Barcelona, but what a player. And even in that first game, he showed them. I think this might be the team who did the best business in this transfer market. And I'm going to go to Chris first, I think, because I want Jamie to finish off this podcast with his thoughts about it. But Chris, do you agree? If not, why?
I think
you lagged there for me.
Sorry. Sorry, Chris. I would just ask. I think Villa did the best business transfer market. Do you agree?
Yeah.
If not, why? If yes, why?
Me?
Yeah, you, Chris. Yes, all over to you.
Okay, here we go. Right, you ready for this, then, lads? You ready?
Yeah.
Right, get your soapbox out. I'm gonna stand on it. There we go.
Oh no, it's both of you. Oh no.
I was going to put myself on mute and roll a couple of cigarettes, so hang on.
don't mute us on the thing, Joe. Don't bad hear us.
Yeah. Good point. Do you know what, mate? I agree. I think best business this transfer window is definitely Villa. They've made some insane signings. I think the one issue I will have is the Coutinho signing. Obviously, I know it's loan, whatever, but I think the first appearance against United and he scored the goal and he got the assist. Well, no, he didn't get the assist, but
basically got the assist.
I think that will basically did, didn't he? That will sort of influence how we see his signing. One good game. It'd be interesting to see how he feels a few games down the road.
Yeah.
But initially, fantastic signing. Wesley's back, like you said.
He's gone off on loan.
Dinier.
Yeah.
He's gone from loan.
Wesley's gone. Yeah, he's gone to International on loan.
Oh, that's a shame. But yeah, Dinier's there as well. Like, and I'm not saying Dinier's good at all.
I think he's good.
He's bang average. Same with
really.
Same with Callum Chambers.
Yeah, I think Callum Chambers bang average. Right? But I think it's a decent.
At that level, at Villa's level, great. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not talking Arsenal level because Arsenal are obviously strides ahead of Villa. Everton probably should be. But I think at Villa's level, it's exactly what they need. Like, there's a reason why they just changed their managers this season. Like, that they were struggling, and I think this injection of new tactics, fast players in Coutinho, and Callum Chambers is pretty rapid. Like you have a new style, and I'm absolutely backing them to do well. I think tactics-wise, they're struggling because Gerrard's
Gerrard. It was amazing, mate. I think he's a great manager.
Gerrard. He slipped on his... No, the issue is, though, I have with Gerrard, it's win-win. So if he loses tons of games in a row, he gets another season anyway, because he puts it down to bad position that he came into with. He can blame the players, essentially. If he wins loads, everyone puts it down to him because they were crap before.
So I think what you're saying is
absolute win-win.
Judge him on next season. Is what you're saying?
Yeah,
really?
Judge him on next season. So he's bad. He's bad until next season, as far as I'm concerned.
He's good until next season. I like it. And I think just to finish off a pod, if you don't know, Jamie Lawler is a massive, massive Blue Nose Birmingham City fan. Biggest Birmingham City fan I've ever met in my life. And he's probably got a bit of a bias against Villa. So let's just to finish, Jay, what are your thoughts on Villa's transfer market? Honest thoughts.
I would like to plead the Fifth Amendment.
Cool.
I hate to say it. Coutinho is a class signing. Like they've got the option to buy. I think it's incredible. Dinier, I couldn't believe they got Dinier. I was in shock they got Dinier. Matt Target was crap, and I was enjoying watching them fault every week at left back. Now they got a class fullback. Chambers, good signing for them. I think solid it's really signing. Good. In terms of obviously the Scouser, he's all right. He's done all right there. I think he's eyeing up a good move to Liverpool in 2 years by signing these players now, and I think he'll take them all with him, hopefully. How do I think Villa are getting on? I think they're going to be okay. I think they're doing really well. Annoyingly, I think they're going to try and do a Europa League push this year. Hopefully, fail at the last hurdle, and it's the fans more than anything. That's what I can't deal with. If I see another Facebook post saying the sleeping giants have woken up again, the picture of a line, I'm going to start flat-footing laptops.
I think we can all agree that. That would be annoying, especially for your rivals. But I don't think they're sleeping giants. I don't think they've really been big.
No, I don't think they are either.
For a few decades, really.
They're still living on a European Cup win from 30 years ago. Grow up.
I think it's more than 30
40
now,
years
isn't
ago,
it?
grow up.
Was it 80s, wasn't it? Mid-80s?
Yeah, I literally had someone the other day at work come around to me and go, we won the European Cup. You weren't even born. I was like, you weren't even. If you weren't born, you can't talk about it.
Jay, you show him your League Cup, mate. Just get him in there.
Show him the league. I was there. I was eye to eye with Martins, 8 rows up in Wembley, watched him tap the ball into an empty net.
Do you know what I didn't realise, though, the other day? Which, I don't know if you boys realise this. This is completely off topic, but we're finishing now anyway. If you win the FA Cup, you get a Europa League space. Mm-hmm. Do you know the League Cup's now a Europa Conference League space?
Yep.
They've relegated it to that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's proper muggy. So you had to win it when it was a big cup, you know what I mean?
So, that's just off topic. I thought I'd just share it with you boys. But, that's all we've got time for today. If you aren't already, please follow us on Spotify, Apple Music. We're also on YouTube. I'll go there. We put all these pods up about 4 or 5 days later on there. Go subscribe on there, like on there. We're Babbling Brummies, and we'll be back next week. See ya.